I practice orthomolecular medicine, and ortho means correct, molecule means biochemistry of the cell. So orthomolecular is a specific field, and I have used both Western. I'm also a Western physician. I focus on addiction, and I also wound care, and I'm a clairvoyant. I do healing, and I have written few books. One of my books is called Meridian Medicine, which combines, you can see it, right? It combines both Western and Eastern philosophy. And then I also specialize in homeopathic cannabinoids. So I'm going to bring up all the stuff I have learned so far to your field. And the focus today is on chapter 8 of this book, right? So if you guys want to like
not that book. Not that book.
Oh, it's a different book?
It's his textbook.
Book.
Okay.
It's his textbook. It's Agni and Digestion.
Digestion and nutrition. Yeah. No, but like I kind of followed your format, like Dr. Ladd's digestion and nutrition. But I'm going to bring up, like, you know, what is like different aspect of you, the same thing, but kind of like keeping it into the main theme of this topic, which is digestion and nutrition from an Ayurvedic perspective. Okay. And this is my office. I have a background with forest, see, and I have a light wall. I can give you a quick tour. This is the street. Now all my plants are growing. You guys can see it's oregano, Italian oregano. And this is where I see most of my patients. I stay here 4 days a week. And this is my logo, which is I wear because this logo is about states of mind. It's 7 states of mind. And this is my spiritual teacher who is in the other side of the slide, the first slide, okay? And we're going to go one by one, each slide. And like, you know, the olden concept, like, you know, which used to say Ayurveda is 5,000 year old. My teacher came across these teachings, which is 20 to 30,000 year old textbooks. So they have realized actually that these were practiced millions of years ago. And it was orally taught. The written scriptures is recent, but that doesn't mean it didn't exist before. And Ayurveda was taught because everybody in India believes everybody is a god. So the original god is Dhanvantari. He is the god of medicine. And these were taught as Vedic philosophy. Are you able to read my slides? You're able to see it? Okay. So Ayurveda is about living a healthy, happy life. And it's Ayur means life. And it's Brahma they call creator. Creator himself gave these principles for life. And teachers used to impart this ancient knowledge verbally. And afterwards, the word became like, you know, written. The first time they started writing it on like cave walls and stuff, they inscribed it. And so the original Veda became Brahmi, Brahma, because when he wrote, they called it Brahmi. And then it became Siddham, and then it became Sanskrit. So each one, like, you know, went through a phase, and then eventually through Sanskrit, it was sung. All the Vedas were sung as verses, and that's how the knowledge was imparted. And that's why he has, you could see, like, you know, the water, the herbs, the scrolls, because originally they were written on a palm leaf, and then it became transcribed, different methods, which you probably know. And the first person who was the original teacher, he described, his name is Kapila Muni. And he actually apparently started 13 different sections in India, and he developed his own schools. And he taught these 24 principles that form the universe, like which you probably or more aware of, but I am just going over so that you will understand. Prakriti means the universe. Like there are three aspects, like the human aspect, which is the statement of God. The state of God is Prakriti, and then universe, Jivan, Jagat, Purusha. Like there are Trinity always, and accordingly, they have the gunas, like the emotions associated with that, and then the organs, the mind, and the sensation elements, and then the expression of those elements. These are some of the things I heard you were taught already, so I'm just going to bring it up so you will understand. Sankhya means liberating logic. So there are three aspects to learning. One is the length, that is through word, like how I'm teaching. That's Sankhya, liberating logic. The other one is breadth, which is like the width, which is visual. You show a picture, you get what it is. But who makes those connections, right? The connection is this, there is a consciousness that is inside and outside of us, which makes sense of these visuals. And that's why, the Jagat, that's what is called Jagat, which is the universe, that take into account the piece that's being presented, that the breadth, and then the depth, that's a cognition. And I'm going to come back from it from another angle. The Sankhya, the liberating logic, if you look at the bigger picture, is Vata, okay? Because the air, the intelligence, right? And the air also holds the space. The space and air is the Vata. And then the visual, which is the breadth or the width aspect, is the kapha. It's like the kapha aspect, which is the water element. And also the pitta is the depth, which is cognizing both the liberating logic and the breadth dimension. Together you cognize, you form the cognition that comes through the pitta. And the reason is, if you understand like some words, you understand some visual, you need to digest it. So the digestion happen in multiple levels, whether it's in the body, in the mind, cognition is what puts it together. So having the right cognition is very important to anchor it all together. So if I have to tell spiritually, the Vata aspect is the bio memory. Muscle memory comes from Kapha aspect. The Pitta aspect is bio energy. So it's pure energy. And energy sometimes it has to disintegrate and destroy and bring forth the truth. So that's the whole thing about the Pitta. Pitta is a very fascinating layer. So the Pitta quality reflects fire and water. And I'm going to go over this again and again, so you guys don't need to worry. So Ayur is knowledge. Ayur is, even though it says knowledge, actually I should have written life, because Ayur is not only knowledge, but it's life. Veda is the, not just the knowledge, it's the science. It's like doctrines, right? So knowledge is like a very simple word, because knowledge is like means nothing unless you understand what is it. So in India, the Veda or the knowledge is given to everybody. Or everybody, 100% has the knowledge. So the teaching is to unmask the delusion. So it's like, I'm not teaching you anything. This is all inside you. What I am going to do, remember like that Lion King, Simba, remember? What I'm going to do is teach you guys how to remember, because you guys already know this. I'm going to wake up those memory in you. That's all. Does it make sense? Because it's not about I'm teaching anything new. You all have it. I'm just going to make you guys remember what it is, because we have all these inside. And I'm going to go to the next slide. So I'm going to come back again. So the body, again, is a part of the elements outside. The elements outside has a piece of us. So we always are interconnected. They say we are a small representation, how God wants to see the world. He made it as a statement. State of God is, or space of God, or space of energy is outside. But the way we interact is a piece of God. So everybody has this piece of higher self in us. So we are the God inside. So whatever we need to use, we use to move through that time. And it depends on the environment, the elements, everything. We keep shifting. The body elementally had 72% body water. And that's the same in the universe. In the earth, there is a big piece of body water. 12% is earth that exists inside us too. 6% is air that's inside us. 4% is fire. And for one to live well, water plays a major role because we are 72% body water and 72% of planet is water. And I hope you guys know this thing called water crystal experiment. I don't know whether you guys are aware. Water crystal experiment is they went and said certain words to water and water became crystallized. Have you heard about that? Are you aware?
No, go on.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up. Water crystal experiment. So when they went, like the Japanese scientists, he went and said certain words to water and they froze it. When they froze it with good words, are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, see, when it is compassion, when they crystallized it, it froze a certain way. When they said a bad word, it froze another way. So the only thing that we call body of water is like, all the other elements, we don't even say that word. And that's the same thing, body of knowledge, body of water, because water holds wisdom, right? So it kind of makes sense what I'm saying. Let me go back to my screen. So because of that, like, I feel if you understand how much what we speak influences outside, it influences inside too. I'm going to is it okay if I play a quick video for you guys? Okay. I'm going to play this video because it will tell you how Indian saints, right? They are able to understand even before they go into a person's energy space, they can judge what that person is feeling. So this video I'm going to play. I'm going to make it bigger.
New Bissell Crosswave vacuums and washes your floors at the same time. Dry messes, wet.
He is one of the saints. I'll play like few videos that's very important. It's a very small video.
Yes. Is there any viability to bring that memory level to our life or something? Is there any scientific evidence or spiritual evidence or some evidence is available for that? Basically, say chemistry I'm changing. Okay. Today, is it okay if I walk down into you? Today, particularly in the last 4.5 years, phenomenal amount of research has gone into water and the water potential. This started off inadvertently because of the way the usable water in the world is receding per person. In India, for example, in 1947, doesn't like me. In 1947, how much water an average Indian had? Potable water. Today, we have only 20% of that. They say by 2025, we'll have only 7% of what we had in 1947 per person. Per capita, water, only that much will be available. So because of this, a lot of research has gone into water. It went mostly from this line, but slowly they went deeper and deeper into this, and they find, which you must be, being a chemist, you must be very much aware of this, without changing the chemical composition of the water, you can rearrange the molecular arrangement in such a way that the water will behave completely in a different way than the way it does. To such an extent, it's sensitive to this extent that if I take a glass of water in my hand and Just look at it in a certain way and give it to you, well-being will come to you. If I look at it another way and give it to you, you will fall sick tonight. This is no more superstition, this is science. I'll tell you an incident that happened. About 17 years ago, I announced a 90-day program. 90-day program for what? The most fundamental aspect of yoga is considered as Bhuta Shuddhi. Bhuta Shuddhi means, Bhuta means, you know what? Panchabhutas, the five elements in nature. Earth, water, fire, air and space. These are the five elements in nature. It is these five elements, It is these five elements which is the basic components which make this body, which made this planet, which has made the whole universe, isn't it? The whole existence in a way is a play of these five elements. So Bhuta Shuddhi is about cleansing these five elements within the system. How these five elements behave within me will determine the quality of who I am. Based on this, the basic form of yoga is just Bhuta Shuddhi. Everything else is an outcrop of that, taught in various bits and pieces by many people without understanding the homogeneity of what it is. But essentially, it's about taking charge of the five elements. You practice Bhuta Shuddhi for a certain period of time and you achieve what is called as Bhuta Siddhi. That means you have total control over the five elements. To such an extent, there is any number of incidents where at the time of death or at the time of leaving their body, a yogi goes into your room, people lock it from outside, he goes in and after a few days they open and he's just not there because he dematerializes himself. He doesn't want to trouble you with a funeral, he doesn't want anybody to carry him to the grave, he just dematerializes his own system. 17 years ago, I announced one program for the first time, 90-day program. Why 90 days is? Approximately between 40 to 48 days, the system goes through a certain cycle on the elemental level. This is called a mandala. Every 40 to 48 days, there is a cycle where the system goes through this cycle. So this is the reason if you go to any Ayurvedic doctor or a Siddha Vaidya, he will always give you a medicine for 40 days or 48 days to make use of that cycle, natural cycle in the body. So I said 2 mandalas minimum, 3 would be good, but if I said 3, many things will happen. I said minimum 2 mandalas. If you do sadhana, you can gain control over your system. Those who want to come, you come. And I left the town because I know a lot of drama will happen. Now in a family, husband wants to go for 90 days, wife will do kathak. Wife wants to go for 90 days, husband acts like Rajinikanth in the house, angry man, walks up and down like a hero. So many things, drama will happen, so I don't want to be there. I said, those who want to come, you come, it's up to you. So after that I came back, to a particular family that I know well. It's a normal part of our hospitality. When somebody comes home, first thing is you bring water. So this lady in the house brought water for me and she's like Kali suddenly. Not just Kathak, she's like Kali.
So I'm going to pause here. Kali means she was angry, and I hope because he is using certain, he's assuming you know what he's talking about, but the girl, he could perceive her anger when she came in, and he could sense that water has already absorbed that energy, okay? And because we can sense certain things even before.
She's a nice lady. Today she's in the Kali form. So I looked at her and she offered water to me and I said, Amma, I don't need this water. I don't need to drink this water. You're like Kali right now. I don't need Kali's prasadam right now. I'm fine. She said, why will I poison it? I said, no, you don't have to poison it. It's already done. Then I told her, you take a sip from this glass. She took a sip from the glass. Then I said, give her the glass to me. I held it in my hands for 2 minutes and I just gave it to her. You drink it now. She drank one sip and burst into tears and started crying. He said, it's sweet. I said, that's all the difference it is. Now, your body is over 70% water. If the water in this system behaves in a sweet manner, will you be at least 70% sweet? If the air and earth behaves sweetly within you, will you be at least 90% sweet? Space is never bothering anybody, isn't it? So, the essential science of yoga is about Bhuta Shuddhi, taking charge of the elements within the system. Once you have control over the elements in the system, you can also influence the elements around you. Essentially, your whole work with life, your whole work in the world is just with the elements always, in a very basic form, isn't it?
Okay, I'm gonna go over. So it kind of makes sense, right? Because the pitta layer is the one that controls our mood. So if you understand that significance, it will make sense, because pitta layer is the depth of us. The way we cognize, the way we understand, we take it into perception is directly connected to pitta. And that's why people burst into emotions when the pitta is in disharmony. But also it allows us to love deeply, feel deeply. And it's the emotional peace that connects everything. Because Vata people are more like very alert, focused, but they are not grounded. So bringing Vata into anchor is Pitta. Same way Kapha is about movement and muscle tendon and structure. The Pitta is what brings both of us together. Okay, so it's a grounding relationship. So the Pitta, the reason I'm bringing this is the wisdom of cooking also is directly derived from God per ancient sastras. And he gave us the science of cooking, and the unmanifested form of the God took these instructions and manifested it for us. So Avyakta is unmanifested, and in the manifested form, the Purusha then materialize these cooking principle, and that's how the digestion and nutrition evolved. And then the original text, the textbook for cooking was called Bhaga Shastra. Shastra is like the science, so initially the science came, and then afterwards they experimented, the Atma, which is the soul, understood the science, and it desired a certain experiences, and it create from Atma the Apta, the desired effect. And then they started cooking, and they kept the ones that they liked, let go of the one they didn't like. And these cooking were, like my teacher, his name is His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda, he discovered these, that the original text that he got hold of in 2015 was 20 to 30,000 year old, and he started putting together this textbook for cooking. And according to ancient scripture, the original teacher, his name is Sadashiva, he revealed the secret to his wife Parvati, according to the scripture. And so then they announced in 2013, worldwide, they started to do the Annalaya project, because he feels everybody eats with emotion. It is about emotional layer. So he feels sometimes people connote food with emotion. So we don't eat because we are hungry. We sometimes eat because we want to be loved. We eat because we desire something. So the food at some point became a source of comfort for everything else that we lacked in life. And that's when, if you love, you show food and you bring them in and you start a relationship. So the relationship with food started. But the only way you can build on that is understanding what is the reason we are eating, and how to keep the ones we want to eat and let go of the ones that we don't want to. And I'm going to bring these are like just introduction, and afterwards I'll go through another piece. I don't know whether you want to watch this video. And I'm going to bring up like quickly his video. His channel is Life Bliss Foundation. And here he'll talk about the pitta layer.
In today's satsang, Swamiji expands on Satvik Ananda, the bliss out of non-violent actions.
The science of bliss, understand. I was revealing some of the important.
Oh,
things about
I forgot to mention. He is the direct descendant of Kapila. Remember how Kapila is the one who started all this? And this saint, His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda, he took over that lineage. So sometimes I like to listen to him because he tells how his whole lineage started.
Listen. Actually, integrity is a simple vision of reality. Why it looks so complicated, you know? Your brain gets covered with a thin, subtle layer of pitta, which puts you in certain delusion, constantly makes you believe your assumptions, assumed fears as a part of your reality. Listen, as part of the Shashtanga Yoga, Sadashiva gives one important instruction in Agama. Bliss comes from non-violent activities. Understand? That is what he calls Satvik Ananda. He says that is an antidote for the layer of pitta to be cleansed.
On the 6th day of the Navaratri and the 5th.
So one thing I learned because of that lecture is, this is the first time I even understood that the pitta layer is the cause for mood swings. Like, you know, it made so much sense that people having bipolar, people having mood issue, they are affected by pitta layer. I never even connected two and two together. The whole psychiatric spectrum is affected by pitta. That would make sense because, of course, we are what we eat. We eat animals, we eat the environment, we eat the stress, we drink the water that's stress. How can we not be affected? You know, I'm like saying, oh my God, like finally everything like fell into place for me. And I'm so grateful I found this teacher. And he is the chief of the Mahanirvani Akhada. They coronated him as the descendant of Kapila, and that's why I like this teacher. I'm going to go. So he has his own website called YouTube channel called nityananda.tv, and also his YouTube channel is Life Bliss Foundation. And Sadhguru has his own channel. So you guys, like, you know, I love both of them. They have excellent videos. But this is my personal teacher, so I'm a little bit partial towards him, obviously. So he came across, like, this is again, I'm going to reiterate. H.H. Paramahamsa Nityananda, he found that Bhagashastra, he found that it described how to cook, what vessels to use, how to create the temperature for each item to cook. And he describes 200 items in that Bhagashastra. And this is 20 to 30,000 years old. And he made December 2016 a big celebration, like 3-week celebration, where he cooked 40 different items 3 times a day for 21 days. And he did a celebration according to the ancient cooking. And I'm going to bring that video too, okay? That way you guys will, because they made me, I went and attended his cooking class, or rather like the festival. And I'm going to do like, I think it's a 2-minute session. They asked me to speak about it. And I'm going to bring it up.
So just,
And it
oh my
starts
God,
at,
I'm gonna take it. And I did.
and all the saints from India came.
Vasu, who has an experience to share about the Nityananda Analaya, of course, Sadashiva's kitchen.
My name is Vasu Brown. I practice orthomolecular medicine, which is holistic physician practice in the United States. And when I left India in '93, my mom died 5 years later. This is the last gift she gave me, Annapurni from Kashi. And I felt I lost my home. I felt homeless since then because I felt like my in-laws are in American, I'm married to an American, and I felt I couldn't come home. And when Swamiji sent out the invite, welcome home, I felt so healed just to even hear that word. So I know destination Bengaluru is permanent for me. So I heard him say that he's preparing for a groom's family, and I feel I attended a 21-day wedding celebrations. And he treated us literally like God and goddesses. He fed us personally. Each one got a scoop from him. And the items were 40 different items prepared according to Bhagashastra by Agamas, which I never knew God would make such delicious meals. And this was given 3 times a day, plus snacks, plus tea, coffee, and whatever you want to eat in addition. And my mom used to always make the kottavaranga, and I used to go up a tree in my yard. So it felt so nice. It almost felt like I came home. I loved that feeling. So on the 3rd day of mandala, when they needed to do the mandala, I stayed back. I did the mandala. I didn't realize I was accountable to go get on my bus. I didn't realize it, so I missed my bus, so to speak. So, but then I said, you know what, Swamiji will take care of me. So let me finish my job. So I finished around 3 o'clock, and the girl from Hong Kong, who is a volunteer, she allowed me to bring me to the dorm, and that's when I met the bride side. So I could see the groom side on the Chancery Hotel, bride side, and the bride side was beautiful. They were always eager to hear, what did Swamiji say today? What did they give as gift today? So they'll always tune in. So I always went to my bathroom break on the bride side, and I stayed at night on the groom side, so to speak. And then the next thing that happened, the magic. My mom, actually, I'm a clairvoyant. So my mom, after she died, she showed me she was under a banyan tree with lots of souls meditating together in silence. So I saw that banyan tree, and I felt my soul felt so fulfilled. And when he did the Maheshwara Puja, it was amazing. He did Visibilabad, that's what I called it. And he scooped out and gave, literally we were eating out of his hand. And he scooped out 1 handful, and I couldn't hold it with 2 hands. And the most magical piece was his mom, who was the first saint, and all the other saints fed each other. And I was thinking, what a beautiful thing. They say in heaven, the forks are very long, so they feed each other. In hell, it's short, so they always, in hell, they try to feed each other themselves, and they never get fulfilled. And I could literally see how it is being in heaven, like feeding each other. And that was a beautiful moment, and how Swamiji was like making everybody sing and making fun of them. And that was the most precious thing I witnessed. And like they say, he fed my mind, body, soul, anything I wanted. And like the prayer that goes, Om Namo Bhagavati Annapurne Mama Vilasitam Annam Dehi Swaha. he fed every aspect of my being. And I'm so blessed. And finally, I can say to Swamiji, Mom, I'm home.
Thank you. Those in the back who didn't hear Swamiji replied, welcome home.
So that was really fun because he did the ancient, oh, sorry, I think I'm on the wrong screen. Let me see. Share screen. Where is it? Not there. How do I do that? Okay. Nope. What? No, it's not good. Let me minimize it. I think I want to do that. Want to go back to my slides. Okay, so the reason I'm bringing it up is he first time put together everything, and so we were able to like really taste what it was like. It was amazing. The 40 items, one of the rule was we need to at least honor each piece that was given to us. I was so full, I could literally eat only 1 teaspoon of each item at a time. And this was amazing. That event, 1,075 people participated. And I think that was the best ever dinner I have ever had in my entire life. I can say that. This is the lady who does the cooking show for them. And one of the things is they want to make it so authentic, they will cook only in the ancient recommended utensils. And they will have like pickle jars, like you could see this one is the pickle jar. So whatever it is stored, it's stored a certain way. They cook a certain way in the earthen part. They will make from scratch. And she does it to show a two or in the Asian time. And if you guys want, you can watch her, okay? So I'm going to go back into the lessons again. So Vata is the energy of movement. Like I said, it's bio memory. So the memory of the universe is through the airflow, right? Like remember Pocahontas, all her, like in that movie that all the wind will blow away her energy. So same way, Vata principle is air principle. And it represents the wind energy, and it's energetic energy form of the bioenergy, and it's responsible for movement, and it motivates everything in the world around us. It has 5 subtypes: prana, udana, vyana, samana, apana. Prana is the ascending energy from the back. I think these are like, I'm just going over, you probably will know already. I'm just going over. Apana is the exhalation energy. And then the samana is the medium energy, like where it comes into stabilization. So I think that way, like, you guys will know the major things we focus on. The pitta is energy of transformation. In India, transformation, they also call it destruction. So I used to initially think, because Shiva is the destroyer. So I used to think, oh, he's a destructive god. But actually my teacher afterwards explained to me that digestion means you need to disintegrate. You need to make things that doesn't work and integrate the metabolism and let go of the non-metabolic parts. Delusion is part of digestion, which we cannot digest. We become paranoid. We actually create false perception. So the pitta energy is energy of transformation. So I found it was easier. It made more sense to me to think of it this way. There's the element of fire. But remember, fire also with the water. So the water is the common body between pitta layer and kapha layer. Both has the pitta layer that is ascending, the fire, the agni that goes up, the steam is the pitta. That's why the liver energy influences the pitta layer in the brain. That made more sense to me. The lymphatics are influenced by pitta. The kapha, on the other hand, is mucus discharge. So it drains and it goes down. So you could see the pitta layer and kapha layer use the body of water. Pitta represents the fire principle, represents the solar energy in the universe. It's thermogenic bioenergy, and it's responsible for heat, digestion. Agni is what we need for digestion. It's like the pilot in our belly. If the pilot is turned off, we cannot even gather energy. So pitta energy is what makes us more active in life. And it also gives us the depth that we need to understand very, very deep what we need to understand. Okay. And these are like, in detail, there are other 5 subtypes. I'm not going to go over because I think I want to just stay focused on what we need to discuss. The kapha is energy of cohesion, which means movement. It's a movement, like, flowing through life. So if you understand, like if I have to reiterate, pitta is like a shaft of energy in the middle, and the flow of energy is like the body of water, that is life flow. And when it interacts, it creates the cohesion of movement, and that allows the vata to be alert and to put together these two to perfect usage. And moon is about consciousness. So moon energy is consciousness. It creates conscious decisions we make to act out what we are thinking, right? Like what we think, we speak. What we speak, we act out. So kapha is the ultimate result of what we are thinking and what we are feeling inside. The feelings is from pitta, what we are thinking is vata, and what we are acting, enforcement, or like, that brings into action is kapha. It's responsible for bonding and support. And again, it's 5 different subtypes of it. Now, I just circle this so that you will know. Vata is the subtle energy associated with movement, space, and air. And pitta is fire and water. And kapha is earth and water. So you could see water is the common glue. So the fire goes up, water comes down, meaning earth is down. So you could see, that's why like in India, there is a story where Shiva was perceived as the ultimate source of knowledge, and the creator was asked to go up, who is Brahma, is supposed to be the creator, to see where is the top, and the bottom was given to the authentic, the water body, which is Vishnu. So they became the Trinity, and Vishnu could not reach the ultimate depth, and he said it's infinite. And then the Vata, on the other hand, was like coming across a flower that was falling from top of the sky, and he met the flower, and he says, can you tell everybody that I encountered the top, so that I will prove that I am the holder of truth? So the the flower agreed, and the pitta, which is the shaft of energy in the ultimate universal source, knew that was a lie. So they said the creation is not going to be authentic anymore unless you create with integrity. So the vata layer was downgraded, so to speak. The kapha, on the other hand, had authenticity. So they allowed the truth to be spoken. So that's why they say, don't talk the talk, walk the walk, right? Like essentially, it's like kind of saying the same thing in another way. So it doesn't matter. Like this is one thing, like, I have schizophrenics. I work with mentally health, difficult people. They will have this PDF of knowledge. They will tell me how the drug disintegrates and how it is used in their body, blah, blah, blah. So I'll say, hey, what do you do for a living? They said, oh, we are disabled. I said, why? They said, we are mentally ill. We cannot hold a job. So it doesn't matter what you know, right? Like knowledge is nothing so information is not transformation. So that's why, like, people think they know everything. But if you do not put it to use, if you not walk the talk, it's useless. So I feel that's why the pitta layer is what makes us walks the talk. It also goes up and recorrects our understanding. So each day we wake up, we are able to adjust and create a new reality. That's why I think it's amazing. Like our thought current is our karma. I didn't even know that. I thought karma is like given to you and like forever, like, you know, you're living a lifestyle. And afterwards, I understood karma is just a thought current. And you can change your future by writing another perception that's based on reality, and you will be able to create your brand new future. The Pita layer is amazing because it gives us the freedom we want to choose the lifestyle we need. And I went over in detail so that, like, you know, you will understand. So Vata is like, you know, about breathing, blinking, muscle, tissue movement, pulsation of heart, all movement of cytoplasm, cell membrane. And Vata, interestingly, this is one fascinating layer which I like, because this is what gives us the cellular energy. Since I specialize in orthomolecular medicine, the reason I think many people fail is because we do not methylate. Methylate is like an ultimately breaking down the food, so you give the energy to the body. And when methylation does not exist, that's when autism comes in. It's very interesting. There is a very nice story they had. There's a goddess in India. Everything energy is god and goddesses. So this goddess of energy, they all gathered together, and this demon was praying. The demon was going to ask for a boon from God because he was doing all the right things. Like, you know, he was eating the right food, he was praying the right way, he was doing everything the Veda taught. So all the beings, entities got really scared. And he had this mind power that was tremendous. So they all gathered together and they said, we really need to put a stop to him. So what they all decided is everybody's bioenergy. Remember, bioenergy is Pitta. Everybody's Pitta got together and they created something called a spindle of energy. And they made that man mute, meaning like muk. Muk means muteness. Muk. And so instead of having desires, he became wordless. So he had all the wits, but he couldn't speak the right way. And I feel that's the first time God created autism, in my opinion. The first time autism was created is because they wanted to put an end to this knowledge that's useless. So then that's when, if you understand methylation, you'll be able to reset autism. So I was fascinated how much the ancients knew. So I feel the autistic behavior is because they are not wiring their brain well. It's because they are imbalanced, because they are not perceiving properly. They cannot cognize. They are stuck in a certain place until they learn that lesson, and then they move to the next level. So Vata promotes creativity and flexibility because they are stuck in the world. They're very creative. Autistic people are the most brilliant people in the world, but also in imbalance, Vata produces fear and anxiety because they can easily get very, very anxious. So that's why they act out, okay? Pitta, on the other hand, is body's metabolism. Remember, metabolism is about destruction. This is where I got confused in the past. I used to think destruction means something bad, but then my teacher said, no, destruction means you digest what you want, whether it's mental digestion, physical digestion, energy digestion. You know, you take what you want, do with it to help others and yourself, so you will nourish what you need to nourish. So I loved this explanation better. And there was this, I go to a steam sauna in Rhode Island. You guys would probably know that, right? Rafa Yoga, you guys know what that? They have a steam room, which is a hot steam sauna. It's on the active ingredient, it says is Lola or Lola. I don't know whether you've come across that room. It's a new thing she added. Christine Rafa, she added it recently. So I was asking the staff, hey, what is Lola? What is Lola? Nobody explained it to me. Everybody said, oh, we don't know. It says it's a Fiji ingredient. So I'm like saying, what is it? And then finally I came across this guy last week, you know, of all the week, like when things are in harmony, it falls into place. I said, hey, what is Lola? He said, oh, it's a ceremony they do in Fiji. They have a hot charcoal, they pour water in it, so it will create steam, and that's what is Lola. I'm saying, oh my God, you could have just said it's a steam, right? I was thinking that's hilarious. But anyway, I loved it because the suspense made it even more thrilling, like, oh my God, I'm going into this Lola ingredient. I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. And it seems the ritual, you have to go at a certain time. I have no idea what time it is. But in India, the 21 second is significant, 20 minute is significant, like how Sadhguru said it's 48 mandala. I don't know whether there is a ritual along with time because time is considered essence of God. So, like, I don't know how long, because according to homeopathy, for 24 times, if you concentrate, it becomes pure energy. So, anything over 24, it's energy. So, I feel there's some significance to time and the water steam, because remember, the water comes in, you heal it, and then it becomes energy, so it resets you. So I wonder whether there is a significance. So that made kind of sense. So it's made up of fire and water, and it governs digestion, absorption, assimilation, nutrition, metabolism, body temperature. Pitta promotes understanding and intelligence. And if it is out of balance, Pitta creates hatred and jealousy because it wants to hold on to things it doesn't need to. Pitta, that's why, Pitta people raise their middle finger because the energy runs through the middle meridian. And Pitta, when it's in balance, they do a mudra called Meru mudra, which is like holding both middle fingers together. And this is again fascinating. I learned through Jinshin Jitsu. I'm also a Jinshin Jitsu practitioner. They said whenever you hold one finger, it's that action. But when you want to neutralize, you do the same mudra, both sides. So if you hold your middle finger together, both sides, it is a mudra. So it neutralizes one anger, another anger, and it becomes bliss. So which is very interesting. So hatred and jealousy goes away and it becomes into harmony. So Meru is supposed to be a mountain in Himalayas, but I feel it is also inside us. Like the highest mountain we have is our head. So when you come into balance, your mood is stable, and when you're stable, you're in a bliss layer. So it kind of made sense. And then comes the kapha. Kapha is, again, I said it's a body structure, and again the common element is water. Remember I told earlier? But the kapha is the energy that's grounding, so it's coming down, so the water is flowing down. So that's why Shiva is considered the energy that's going up, the Shakti, so the yin and yang, so to speak. The Shakti. So if there is a triangle, that's why, I'm going to show it again. So the triangle that's pointing up is the let's say the Shiva, the male energy. The triangle that's pointing down is the female energy, because the female energy is the triangle that points down. So when the kapha is the water supplier for all parts of the body, and it lubricates joints, moisturizes skin, maintains immunity, and it's expressed as love, calmness, and forgiveness, and leads to attachment, greed, and envy. So, it's like neediness. If in case it's not balanced, it will create neediness. Pitta, on the other hand, if it's not balanced, it will create, the lust, relationship, greed. Relationship is Pitta layer. So instead of finding it like a personal love, if you go beyond and do what is the best form of love for them, loving from a higher aspect creates a very good relationship that's based on the most nourishing form of interaction. And that's why people who are lustful, if they are not getting fulfilled, will be very sarcastic. That will make sense, right? Pitta people are very angry and they'll say things. And sarcasm, again, is two syllables, right? Sark means muscle. Chasm is cutting deep. So they'll cut through your flesh so you hurt. The Pitta layer, because they cognize better, they know exactly how to create the best form of revenge by cutting through our heart. So we really feel the hurt. So everything has a purpose. And obviously, in harmony, it's wonderful because people who cognize better are such a joy to be around. But at the same time, people who, the kapha also movement, they are such loving, calm, gentle soul, always forgiving. And the same thing with vata, they are quick-witted, dry-witted, and dry humor, we enjoy. So each one in harmony is a pleasure to be around. Now this is like from your previous lectures, so I understood like these are things that you guys knew already. So I just wanted you to remember, because each one has a association. Sattvic is ultimate form of kapha. Rajasic is pitta, creative power. Tamas is the kapha, and Sattvic is the vata, and Rajas is the pitta layer. And then diet. I'm going to go into your textbook form now. So here I'm going to start talking about like what is important for you guys to understand from your chapter, and afterwards I'll take question. That way, you guys can, in between, if you want a break, please let me know. Would you let me know? When would your break be? Do you guys have a break in between?
Normally we do it about halfway through.
Okay. So now it's 7:30. What time you want to break? 8 o'clock or 7:45 or?
I think
Why
8
do you want
o'clock.
to continue this later, huh?
8 o'clock is fine.
8 o'clock, and you want like a 15-minute break?
10, 15 minutes. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Okay. So I will go through, and then that way we'll have enough time for question and answer session. Okay. So in diet, I'm going to go through phases. Again, pitta, because this is the new understanding I got, that it also influences our mood. Cortisol, when people are very, very stressed, gets converted into pitta. And also the undigested food in large intestine gets converted into pitta. So who pays the price for environmental toxin? For toxins that we are either taking in from emotions, physical, physiological, all this works through pitta. Remember that. So when cortisol gets converted into pitta layer, that is what creates the mood swings. And when you have the mood swings, the cortisol's opposite is oxytocin. So you don't nurture. So essentially you're eating and you don't feel nurtured. You feel hungry all the time. And hunger could be for emotions, for love, for money. Every hunger goes through the pitta layer. So which is very, very important, because that's what determines our destiny. Because not only we are eating our stress, we are eating our emotions, we are eating our environment, and we are eating our lifestyle, and we are changing our DNA. By changing our DNA, we behave differently, and we become a new animal, right? Pitta layer creates the animal in us. So understanding this is very important. In summer, when it's very, very hot, pitta is very, very high. That's why people, when the temperature is very high, they will get snappy very quick. They'll be really frustrated very, very quick. That's because we do not, when the water is lacking in the body, we cannot understand and hold on to our way of feeling longer, because remember the steam evaporates. So inside body also evaporates. And because of that, we react quicker. So instead of acting out of love, we'll react quicker. So when you, just like Lola, remember you are in a steam sauna in summer. So you need to put more Lola in, put more water in, pace yourself so that your tummy always feels full, but at the same time you're not hungry, because very hard to distinguish in summer between thirst and hunger. And because of that, when you in addition eat spicy food, which dehydrates you more, and also salty foods, it will allow us to get aggravated quicker. So that's one thing important to understand. Whereas in autumn, towards the end of summer, it's very, very dry. So all there's no water in the air. So when vata people eat dry foods, they cannot nourish themselves. They already are feeling light. They'll be even more airhead. They cannot focus. So they will be not able to complete task. They'll get disoriented quick, and they will be the pitta type. If it gets angry, vata type can get anxious very quick. Anxiety, interestingly, is your body is vibrating a certain way, your soul is vibrating a certain way. The soul knows your destination. You know, you need to go, let's say, like, since you guys are in Rhode Island, most of you guys, so you need to go 290, let's say. And if I am, like, going like another direction, let's say the Route 6 or 495, so your GPS is saying, oh my God, I'm recalculating, because anxiety is about bringing you back to the original destination. So the more you get walking away from your destination, anxiety gets higher. And that's because Vata cannot accept, like, remember it's air element. When it's dry, it's only space. There's no air left because all it's evaporated, right? So when you are anxious, it means you do not want to eat dry food. You want to eat moist food because it's 72% body water. So you need to bring humidity back. So in autumn, Vata, you would get very, very anxious, and anxiety in turn will cause fear because you're lost. So instead of saying that, many of my patients will come and say, oh, I'm very anxious, I need a pill. I said, you don't need a pill. You need to figure out what is causing you anxiety. But it's like, pill is not going to solve the problem. But unfortunately, our American healthcare is so out of whack. I wish I had like an ability to teach everybody, hey, use common sense, like if you're lost, you need to first figure out where you need to go instead of like putting another one that I'm going to go buy another GPS and put it in my system. This doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, so the Vata people need to eat, remember it's 72% body water. And because of that, they need to eat 1/3 water, 1/3 food, and then 1/3 air, like kind of a mixture of these food. That way they'll reset. So like essentially it's like high watery content food that will reset them. Let's say whether it's soup or whatever it is you want to call it. In winter, kapha, cold and snow, makes them more mucousy. And again, you need to come back. Why? Right? Because the ciliary muscles in the nose, they do not flow. Because of that, the mucus cannot flow. It gets frozen. So in addition, kapha people have this desire for sweet because they love sweet. And when they eat cold food like ice cream, dairy foods, they will be more stuck and they will have more issues in their body. And they will be more mucousy. They'll have like more sinus issues or like, like inflammatory type of presentation that we do. And toxins, which is called tridosha, right? Like if in case, let's say they have a dosha with pitta, vata, kapha, tridosha, if they have issues, if they eat two different foods, that is going to make, like if they're not comparable, if they eat, you actually will potentiate those type of problems. And again, in Ayurveda or any other place, digestion, nutrition, first thing is you need to understand whether we are hungry or whether we are thirsty. Because when you're hungry, if you drink, it will digest, because pitta layer is dependent on Agni, the pilot in your belly will go up. So you don't want to be, when you're thirsty, not drink and eat, because then you'll put out the fire. But whereas when you're hungry and you drink first, you put out the fire too. So like you want to know, when you're thirsty, drink first. When you're hungry, eat first. And if you're like hungry, you want to do more solids. And if you're thirsty, more liquids. And usually they say chew 32 times. We use it even in rehab, like after they have stroke or any major surgeries and stuff, we ask them, especially elderly, to chew 32 times and tuck their chin and then swallow, because that allows the digestive juices in the mouth itself to make it easier for the belly, so the belly doesn't do most of the work. The other significance of a 32 is this is the number given to Narasimha. I don't know how many of you know about the Indian god. Narasimha is half human, half lion. So he has the peripheral part that looks like an animal, an internal part that looks like a human. And his number is 32 because he is able to reset the whole body and restore our normalcy by, like, doing that 32 vibrations. That is his specific number they use. And they also, like, in springtime in many temple, they call it Dwajastamba. There is like a life-giving tree. And they'll make us take out 32 grasses and put it tight around the Dwajastamba. I'm gonna see if I can bring it back here. Actually, I can go to his channel because he did a video on Dwajastamba. They had a beautiful in his videos. This is the one I think I remember. Oh, actually, it could be Nityananda Sangha. Sorry. Yeah. Because I loved how he had a huge one. I have never seen that big one. December. I think we did it. Let me see. Is this the one? I'm sure it might be here.
Today, all the participants of the Sadashivoham 2016 program performed Rudrabhishekam to the lingas in the Vaidya Sarovar. A special group of participants offered Pratiksha Pada Puja, an offering of gratitude to the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swamiji.
There.
To the temple for the Dvajarohanam, the flag hoisting, and start the
So
celebration
this is the life
of the Nityanandeshwara Sadashiva
process.
Brahmotsavam. When the flag is hoisted, all the energies of all the gods and all the worlds are invited to come and come. From there onwards, the celebrations start. So for the next 10 days of the Brahmotsavam, Sadashiva will be with us and celebrate his own Brahmotsavam.
Shivaya namo, Haraya namo, Hara 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 Haraya namo, Shivaya namo, Haraya namo, Shivaya namo, Haraya namo, Shivaya namo, Haraya namo, Shivaya namo, Shiva 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 Shivaya namo, Haraya namo, 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 Shivaya namo, Haraya namo.
Later in the evening,
I wanted to see whether they'll, because that's the biggest one I have seen in my life, because I've never seen that big life-giving tree. And the other thing I wanted to show you is because each grass vibrates its solfeggio frequency. Each grass tip has miracle. It's like grass tip has solfeggio frequency 528. it regenerates the cell. But
Natural
I
Bliss has
think
turned the
I'm gonna,
creamer world upside down with new almond milk creamers that are delicious.
they call it
and
DNA
creamy,
repair.
real almonds and
And that's
Madagascar
why
vanilla,
in spring
all
when we
natural.
walk, like, you know, the
Delicious.
newly
New
generated
Natural Bliss
grass,
almond milk creamers.
we regenerate our body. So it's a, I think, unfortunately, I don't have the right to, but anyway, DNA repair. Because this is how we repair the DNA. And I heard the grass tip, the blade tips, which they use, it's called Durba, D-H-A-R-B-A. Durba is holy Durba grass. They call it holy Durba grass. And that's what he was using. And that is the one that vibrates, this one. Vibrates with 528 frequency. I don't know what I have. They use it for all cleansing in India, Kusha. And this, I heard.
Kusha heißt Gras, beziehungsweise Kusha ist eine besondere.
And that's the same vibration the sun has in the middle too, it seems. They call it holy grass. And that's how they purify any space. This, like many rituals, like, you know, they always do. First, they will do the chanting. The water is purified, and then the whole place is blessed with that grass. So you could see, like, you know, the tree. So that 32 has a significance. That's why, like, for some reason, the chewing 32 times same way resets that 528 hertz in the body, which is regeneration of our DNA. So everything is significant. Oh, and I did that. Go back to the screen. Again. So 32 times is significant. And, like, you know, the proportion, they say that even in Earth, there is a latitude between 0 to 33 degrees. And you have like 10 minutes. So I'll play a video why it's significant. And they feel that every 12 years, it resets itself, that 0 to 33 degrees latitude. And in India, they believe the body of water, they have something called Kumbh, River of Faith Festival. See, like every religion, accordingly to Western understanding, has one source book, one festival, one imagination of God, okay? The only difference is in India, the source book is not one, it's 1 crore. So there itself is a problem, right? The festival is Festival of Water. It's called Kumbh Mela. And the source of God is a person, like, you know, God is inside, not outside. So I think the concept of religion itself is different, because in India, it's not about religion, it's the label we give. So there are like 25 states of consciousness. Of these, the form of God has 5 aspects: creativity, authenticity, sustenance, and then responsibility for destruction, delusion, liberation. And these 5 aspects goes through dream state, deep sleep, waking up state, awareness state, and alert state. So when you combine these, I don't know whether it's too much, but what happens is these perceptions, again, like, you know, has to be taken in by the water, which gathers this wisdom and resets the whole body and re-engages itself. I'm going to bring up another video, which I found. There are 2 videos I want you guys to watch so that you will understand the concept behind. Because India and New Zealand, only 2 countries so far, declared water has its own rights. So they decided to give it rights, meaning like its own, it's considered an entity by itself. I'm going to bring up what it means. So faith, river of faith. I'm going to say, we go here, river of faith, India. This is a huge thing. People come together. And I'm going to go back.
We live in a zoo. This is home.
Inspired by waters of the Ganga are in
So they say, these saints, they have given up normal life. So they will use their internal, like genital organs to pull a chariot because they are capable of so much power. Because they go beyond normal emotions. And then, in the midst of water, the Lord is moving, surveying men's truth and men's lives. How sweet are the waters, crystal clear and cleansing. Now may these divine waters enlive in me. Rig Veda. And that's when they said the water on the bottom of the earth comes up and it's 11 degrees latitude. And again, I'm going to bring up another video, which is by and I love this video because it really made much more sense. Let me bring this is water. This is the Supreme Court decision they made. So they decided to declare water, High Court, they decided they are living entities. So they will have the same legal rights as a person. And this also happened in New Zealand. They decided New Zealand also they will maintain that water will have its own privileges. It said here, New Zealand living entity status. So 2 countries so far is declaring water as a living entity, which is amazing. Let me go back to that video. I'm going to minimize it again. Oh, sorry.
About transforming or about reviving this Mahakumbh as a knowledge base, as a place and a time that people, large number of people, will seek.
Right now, I
As a source
hear
of
there's only one
inspiration,
phone in the United States, it's the
healing,
iPhone.
and
It's a
transformation,
good.
which is what it has been for thousands of years.
I'm sorry, I'm playing it too.
About transforming, maybe in the last 5, 6, or 10 decades, in a century, this Mahakumbh as a knowledge base, as a place and a time that people, large number of people, will seek as a source of inspiration, healing, and transformation.
And here he talks about the latitude.
Which is what it has been for thousands of years. Maybe in the last 5, 6, or 10 decades, in a century, it could have to some extent lost its relevance and its significance simply because
After this, we'll take a break.
Well, the nation has not been in our own hands. So reviving this, what this means, why is this? What is so significant about taking a bath once in 12 days? It's not about that. This comes from our fundamental dimension of yoga, which is referred to as Bhuta Shuddhi, which means to cleanse the 5 elements in our system. Everything in the universe, this body, this planet, the solar system, the universe and the cosmos, everything is just a play of 5 elements. The entire universe is just a mystique of 5 elements, not 5 million, just 5. This shows the brilliance behind creation, the trillions and trillions of forms that life has taken. All this only with 5 ingredients. So the yogic system, the fundamental form of yoga is Bhuta Shuddhi, where it is understood that if you gain some mastery over these 5 elements, your health, well-being, prosperity, access to the universe, all these dimensions are taken care of if only you take charge of these fundamental ingredients which make you who you are right now and which makes everything what it is right now. This body, the elemental composition of this body is such that 72% of this body is water, 12% is earth, 6% is air, 4% is fire, the remaining is Akash. For one to live well here, water plays the most important role because 72% of this body is water, 72% of the planet is water. So the Kumbh, or the science of making use of the confluence of rivers at certain latitudes, came not because of belief, not because of some blind faith. This came because of keen observation of how life and the different forces around us function and how we can ride that, how we can make use of that. The modern science is beginning to open its eyes to this, that between equator, that is the 0 degrees latitude, to 33 degrees latitude, the centrifugal force that the planet generates because of its spin largely works in a vertical manner. As you go further north, it becomes tangential, but here it works in a vertical manner. 11 degrees centigrade is one place where it is perfectly vertical. So after much search within myself, we established the Isha Yoga Center at 11 degrees latitude, because if one is doing sadhana, the maximum benefit happens here, because the Earth's centrifugal force is pushing everything upward in a vertical manner rather than in a tangential manner. So from 0 to 33 degrees, this was known as the sacred land on the planet, because spiritual sadhana found at most results or maximum results happen in this region for whatever sadhana that an individual person does. So within this latitude, we identified many spots where at different times of the year and different times of the solar year, which lasts for 12 1/4 years, the forces are working in a certain way, and those places were identified as places to be on that particular day or that particular period. Wherever two water bodies are meeting with a certain force, it creates a churning of water. This body being over 72% water, being there at that particular time, when it is in a particular nakshatra in the solar system, in the solar cycle, the maximum benefit happens to the body. In the ancient times, everybody understood that this mandala of 48 days If you stay at the Kumbh and every day you're in that water with the appropriate sadhana attached to it, you could transform your physical body, your psychological framework, your energy framework, and above all, find enormous spiritual growth within you within a span of one mandala, which is 48 days. But today, slowly, it has become more just a quick visit, a half a day visit where you take a simple one dip and you're out. Well, maybe in today's world, we can't get all of you for 48 days at the Kumbh. But I was talking to the Chief Minister and said it's important that we set at least 40 days of sadhana for everybody, wherever they may be. Every day, 10 to 12 minutes of sadhana in their own home for 40 days, then come and take a dip. This will make a huge difference because the importance of it is at a certain place, if a certain volume of energy is happening, do you have the ability to receive it? Do you have the ability to perceive it? If you cannot perceive, no matter where you are, everything will go waste. So the whole science of why the Kumbh, why at certain latitudes, why where the confluence of water bodies are happening, there's an elaborate science about it. I don't want to go into the entire…
Okay. So it is 8 o'clock. You guys want to take a break? And come back?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we will gather at 8:15 and I can continue the lecture probably for another… I think I have only like how many more? Like 6 more slides to go. Oh no, 7 more slides. No, 6 more slides. I have a case discussion too. And then I'll take questions if in case you want specific topic to be covered. I'm coming from different angles. So you guys like will have like a little bit more exposure to like, another way to think and stuff. And I'm hoping like, you are able to follow with me. And if I am talking about your head, let me know. I can redirect myself, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll see you guys shortly here.